McElearney.
Yeah.
I'm now 25 years old, which spooks me a little bit. I think I'm getting old. I'm doing a PhD at the moment in Queen's University in Belfast. I'm looking at the possibility of United Ireland. And I'm looking then at the capacity and willingness of nationalists, so people in the island of Ireland who want United Ireland, to embrace a British cultural identity in that perspective of United Ireland. So that would be mandated under the terms of the Good Friday Agreement, which is all before you were born, and actually before I was born as well. But if there ever was to be United Ireland, then there have to be some embracing of British identity in United Ireland, but there's just not that much information about how that would happen. So I'm looking to explore that. So that's what's keeping me busy Monday to Friday. And then I work on the radio station in LMFM in Bród at the weekends, where I present Saturday sport and sometimes do Sundays as well. So I'm really busy, but enjoying the journey is how things are going for me at the moment. So there we go, that's the start. I used to teach here, which I really loved.
Yeah.
I really did a great year here, and when I came up, and I was a student here obviously as well, as you know, but I had the year teaching here, which was a great year. And when I come up the stairs earlier on today and come in the doors, I was like, oh my God, I've missed this place so much. And I knew I missed it. I just love what this place is about. So I was really happy to come back here for a year to help out teaching, and I was just so happy here as a student. And I feel like CNI gets so much right about what education should be about. It's not just about what happens in the classroom, it's about all these different things that it's about life experience and life immersion. And I personally felt that when I was a student here and when I was a teacher here, that CNI did so much good in that regard. So probably a bit overextended my introduction there, but just I did think of that when I came in here today. So I think that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, aren't you? Yeah. Right, so anyway, whatever you have to ask me, ask me anything.
So from your jump from 6th class to first year, how'd that feel?
That was a tough enough time, and I think being a first year is hard. Probably the hardest of all years, even harder than 6th year now. Because there's so much change. So I was in Donaghcarney school, and I loved Donaghcarney as well. I was really happy there. And then I actually met Mr. Kennedy, my old principal there yesterday. I was talking to him and we had a good chat, and he's a lovely guy, Mr. Kennedy, really fond of him. And he's gone now, but he's a really nice fella. So I was really happy there. But there's so much change, and you kind of have, like lots of my friends from school were coming here, and I'm still friends with all them lads now. And then I was in Donaghcarney's not a mixed school, so you come in and you're with girls and all that kind of thing as well. And when you're 12, 13, like that's a bit of a change. And then you're kind of getting to know people, and you're kind of navigating your way around, and even just getting stuff sorted with your lockers and your new subjects. And it's just such a time of great change that it was I found it kind of difficult, but at the same time I was really happy because I did enjoy my first year as well. I played football with the school, played Gaelic football in first year and we won a tournament there at North Leinster, and that was a really good experience for me because I was involved in that and I was part of that process, and I think that really helped me embedding into the school to be involved with something that was kind of extracurricular as well. And I feel like I kind of got the culture of the place quickly. Like I wanted to come to CNI when Amy McCarrick, I don't know if you don't remember Amy McCarrick, do you? She ran here in first year. She was the first principal of this school, and she came in and Donaghcarney school spoke to us, and she kind of sold the place as a place that was the right attitude and values that I kind of was looking for. So I really wanted to come here, and I did kind of embed in those relatively quick people. Just because all the change that happens, it was probably a tough year, and it is probably the toughest year in your school life, in my opinion. But so it was tough. But I did enjoy it. I knew that I was happy here.
Would you have any tips for first years now, people coming into first year, like cleaning their locker, studying?
Yeah, I had folders. This is hilarious, right? So I used to go around school. I used to have a suitcase as a school bag, right? No, I swear to God, a suitcase as a school bag, right?
Reading around.
Like just reading around.
And sometimes then I used to carry it then on my shoulder.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I swear to God, I'm not just making it up, right? So you can imagine how weird that looked, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't really care. I kind of knew it was a bit weird. I didn't really give a hoot, like. Do you know what I mean? I think you kind of have to be maybe a certain kind of person to not really care about that. But everybody's different, right? So the first thing you'd say is embrace everyone's difference, right? As much as you can. Don't, everyone likes a bit of a slag and a messing, but that can go too far. And in first year, people can kind of maybe not realise what the boundaries are and what's kind of a little hurtful and nasty, right? So have your bit of crack. And I kind of knew I was going around with that thing, and that people were probably slagging me a bit, but I didn't mind. But I was able to give it as much as I took it as well. I was lucky like that. But not everybody's able to take it. So try and just keep that in mind when you're in first year. Like have a bit of fun, a bit of banter with people, but don't take it too far that you hurt someone, because nobody, that's going to make their life way more difficult than you realise. You don't want that to happen. I probably found it a little bit difficult in first year when I was, what was I from? You're kind of embedding in it. Like I was in a class where I didn't have many of my mates from primary school were in the same class. And I was kind of keen to get to know more people as well, and I'm still very friendly with all my mates from primary school who are also in CNI now, and like they're great lads, and I love them all to bits. But I was kind of keen to get to know more people as well, and it kind of took me a little bit of time to find my way in that. And I suppose the message in that is, do you have a little bit of patience? That things can sometimes, like, remember there's a good friend of mine, Lucas Callahan, and me and him kind of joke about this now. He was in the Laytown school, so I didn't know him at all when I came to CNI, and we were the same class then, Ron Wallace, which is now Ian McCabe's class. She was our Craigmore in first year. Ian McCabe was great Craigmore for us. And we had a good year, really good class, and we all got on well. But it took us maybe about 6 months to kind of realise how well we all got on with each other. It just took a little bit of time to bed in. So I suppose in that regard, have a little patience and try and give people a little bit of time to get to know each other, familiarise each other. Don't be quick to judge people, because sometimes when you come in the first year, everyone's a little bit nervous and a bit on the defensive, and it takes a bit of time for people to relax and kind of find their feet. So that's probably my advice, is to try and just kind of give things a bit of time and give yourself a chance and give others a chance to get embedded in, and don't be so quick to judge it. Do you know that kind of way? Don't be kind of quick to slag people or kind of pigeonhole people into a certain kind of mantra. So that's probably my advice.
Would you have any favourite subjects out of all these, not just first year?
I loved a lot. I liked a lot of things. I liked Irish, but it took me until maybe a little bit later on. My granddad was fluent Irish, and my grandmother speaks it as well. So I suppose I probably, when I was younger, it kind of used to annoy me. Not annoy me, I used to try and speak Irish to him, but he was so good at Irish that he would like flex on me. So he would like speak a little bit, and then he'd go off into something crazy, as a granddad, and you hate him. I was like, I don't understand, granddad. It's like, you know what I mean? Look at you, I know you're great, and you think you're great because you're talking on the phone to me, and anyway, we got my granddad on great, but as late years went on, I realised I liked Irish more. I love business studies. I had a teacher called Masha Murku for the first, third year, and he was great, and he was entertaining. Like you wanted to listen to him. He was just, he was great. It was hard to explain. He was just so sharp and so engaging. I loved home ec, and I taught home ec here for a while as well. I didn't love maths so much, but that wasn't because the teachers were just not my strength. I liked English. I mastered McCabe for English and history. Loved history as well. So we used to master McCabe, not the pre-written, but the guy in B, not online.
Oh yeah.
So the teacher be online. We used to have him 8 times a week for English and history, and we always got on really well with him. And I think that really was part of the reason why I liked English and history, because he was such a nice teacher. What else did I use? I liked Spanish. I liked Irish. We loved the Irish teacher as well. Ian Brown was great. What else did I do? My 2 years cycle. Business, Spanish, science is great as well, and I like biology. I don't have to do biology now. No, I genuinely, I was lucky. I feel like I was kind of happy in my choices for the subjects. But it is kind of what you make of it. You know, you kind of have to find your own way. And not everybody adores their subjects, but you're lucky in you know, you don't have to keep them on for 6th year and 5th year if you don't want to. As you will realise, I'm sure, in a couple of months' time when you go to make your decision for 5th year, you can just kind of pick what you like and what you enjoy, and it's kind of nice like that, you know. So 3 years goes fine, although it can be hard. If you don't like your subjects the first year, I'm sure it kind of seems like a long way if you're doing something, but it does go quickly enough.
Who were your favourite teachers, like from first to 6th year?
God, you're going to get me in trouble now. You really are, because obviously my bad teaching now. I genuinely mean this, right? I love my teachers, and I was lucky like that. And I don't think I was a teacher's pet or anything, because like I liked a bit of messing, a bit of crack as well. Like, you know, I loved a bit of joking. I probably Marshall McCabe was probably up there. Eddie Wallace, I switched. She was in Wallace, also she's in McCabe now. She was great, Craigmore. We loved her. We had her for geography. She was a great teacher as well, and still is a great teacher. But McCabe was great. We used to Marshall Riley, who's gone from the school now, who's our PE teacher, and I was obviously in McCabe football. He was the lead captain at the time, so he was great, almost a mentor for me in many ways. Nice guy as well. America, brilliant. Ian Rooney for home ec, the first year, great, lovely teacher. Ian O'Donnell, who's gone now, great maths teacher. really stern but very good teacher. Ian Brennan for Irish, super. I honestly God, I'm not just saying this. I was very lucky. There wasn't one of them who I was like, I hate this teacher. But I think part of that was that I kind of trusted that they were in it. They didn't. They tried. They made an effort, and I think we recognised that they were making an effort for the right reasons. And I feel like most of them were able to have a bit of crack with once you knew there was a respect line there, and I think that was kind of conducive to good relations in the classroom and outside of it as well. So I really think we were so lucky, and it's probably some of the reasons why I really loved my time at CNI was that the teachers were great, and I would got on really well with them. So I probably left one name or two names out there that I just have forgotten about for now, but genuinely there's not one I can think back and thought I really didn't like that person. So I'm lucky.
For junior cert, like, you know, for second and third year, did you do any studying, extra work?
Yeah, I think first year I did, first year
Okay.
exams, yeah. Remember, I was playing a soccer game for Donecarney Celtic when I was in first year in Dundalk on a Saturday afternoon at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and I remember being up studying at 8 o'clock doing business study. And I used to, in first year, probably too much. Like Monster Mercury's style was like, he used to love the hardbacks in great conditions and do notes. So I used to do my homework on a Friday night, and that's actually a bit of advice I would give anyone, even now. Especially now we have Fridays off early here, right? Get the good work done on Friday.
Fridays off.
No, back in the day, no, it was 3:25 on a Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for until I was in 5th year or 6th year. So well, I used to try and get all my work done for the weekend on a Friday, like 2 days off then for the weekend and relax. Because you're already in that school mode on a Friday. So like, instead of coming home and whipping off the uniform and getting out and doing something, like, for me, I was just, no, let's just crack on. And I never really, maybe once or twice, but I never really did have my homework done on a Monday. Because I knew I had to do it on a Friday even, and I just did. And that was it, and I was done, and it was a weight off my shoulders then. I didn't have to think about school or homework for another couple of days. So that's probably a bit of advice. So, but coming to first year, I remember doing a bit of study before first year exams, for Christmas exams, and in second year and third year, yeah, definitely, 100%. Like I would have, and I'm not saying this to kind of glorify myself or anything, but I would have worked pretty hard for my junior cert then. And I was kind of happy with my results. For me, it was worthwhile. And I did care about it at the time for sure. So, yeah, there would have been a bit of study done. Not necessarily every single day or anything like that. Like, I wasn't that intense, but there would have been a bit done, yeah, sure.
Like 3 or 4 times a week?
Yeah, maybe. Particularly in third year. Kind of around my schedule for my football training or whatever I was doing in the evening time. But yeah, there would have been, yeah.
Do you have anything to cope with, like, do you know the stress for junior cert when you're in third year, teachers all pressing you? Do you have anything
Yeah,
like
that was
help
tough
with
enough. Like, I liked, so where I was studying in my house at home, so there was a little room where I could do a bit of study. It wasn't my bedroom didn't really have space. But I found the noise, so there used to be the radio on in my house all the time. And then my brother and sister were running in first year, so I have brother and sister are twins, are a couple of years younger than me. So they didn't have as much to be doing when I was doing my third year. So looking back now, this is kind of mad, but do you know, you ever see like a builder on a building site, or like someone who's working with a chainsaw, they have noise cancelling headphones.
Yeah.
So I used to have these noise cancelling, not earphones, there's no music playing. It's like headphones to keep noise out. So like I looked like I was on a building site, and all I was doing was like studying for home economics or something. It was so, literally, I used to sit there, right, in the room with the noise cancelling, keep out the noise, because that was distracting me, which sounds mad, but that did help me, and I used them again in 6th year. And in 5th year, definitely in 6th year when I was coming to do my study for my leaving cert. And even so, something like that, like, you think, oh, that's crazy, but that was just the environment I was in.
Just to help focus and everything.
Yeah, and that seemed mad, but that worked. And I back in the day as well, like, social media I was on social media when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th year anyway, but I wasn't as prolific as when in your day now, like. And I used to not have my phone on, no internet on my phone on, nothing ever was on. Except for the odd exception on a day in 6th year when I had football training and I had to organise a lift. And even then I was finding myself more distracted. So for my advice is definitely actually keep the phone out when you're studying, keep the phone out, away. You don't really need to be looking at the clock. Really, what you don't need to be checking the scan. If you don't want to do your bit of work, okay, by all means text your mate, but you should have an idea how to do it really from what you're doing earlier in the day. And just give it your best, but try and avoid that distraction, because that's a really bad habit and it can really get in the way of your study later on in your years. So that's probably what I have to say. So yeah, no, I used to listen to a bit of music. I was playing football and soccer and GAA when I was in 3rd year, and I loved that as well. And I loved going out training in the evening time. I probably started doing a bit of gym work maybe when I was in TY, and a bit more time, less homework. I used to like that as well, and I kept that up when I was in 6th year, so that helped me with my leaving cert. So Yeah, I suppose exercise is the answer to that question. The short answer.
After June 6th, you go into TY, 5th year.
TY, love it. Best year. Immerse yourself.
Any tips for it?
Did I do anything for it?
Yeah. No, any tips? Like,
Absolutely. Do everything you can. Immerse yourself in everything. Try and get involved in music if you can. Do quirky work experiences. Throw yourself at, like you're doing here today, asking questions to me. It's a great experience. Unbelievable. And just try and be proactive in DY because it's a great chance to put the academics on the back burner. And like, don't neglect them. Like when I know you still have your maths and your should be doing, like, you know, turn up, be diligent, do a bit of homework, but don't be sweating it either, you know, like, and take a bit of time to think about what you might like to do after school, because this is a bit of time to figure it out now, to think about that. Like, and you're not going to be pigeonholed, and you do realise this over time. You might do some subject for your leaving cert, and you might go into college, and you might do a degree, and you might end up working in a job that's nothing to do with anything you did before. That can happen. But there are people who find their path a little bit when they're TY 5th year, and then they kind of pick out a course, and it just literally leads them into a career where they love it. Like a couple of mates of mine who just kind of discovered this is what they want to do, and they kind of found out in TY that this is what I like to do, and they're now doing that thing. So it mightn't happen for everybody. Didn't quite happen for me necessarily, but it is kind of didn't. But for certain people, there are chances there where you can just kind of immerse yourself in life outside of school. So you should definitely just take it full on and do that in any way you can. Do mild work experiences.
Is there anything you regret doing or not doing in secondary school?
I didn't do the musical in TY because I actually broke a bone in my back playing football.
What was the musical?
I can't remember what the musical was that time. But I did, when I was in 5th year then, so I knew I missed out on that, right? So when I was in 5th year then, one of my mates, and Master Hopkins, I didn't mention Master Hopkins earlier, great teacher. And he's gone now, unfortunately, he was a great teacher. And he was really immersive and he was really involved in the musical. He kind of used to head the musical before Ian Courtney was in school, and Ian McElearney as well. But himself and Chlann Martin is my friend's name, and he was directing a play called It Only Stands, and it was about rugby, right? It was about back in the 1970s, New Zealand came to play Ireland, and they played Munster in a friendly, and Munster beat them in a friendly. And there's a play written about that, and it's really hard to explain. There's like a load of different subplots ongoing, and we played loads of different characters in the play. You're always on stage. And Caleb suggested to me that you should take part in that, to go for an audition. I was kind of like, yeah, whatever, right, sure, grand. So I turned up and read the thing, and I was like, I didn't really put in that much effort or practice, but he was kind of like, I read it and I thought the audition went well. And next thing I was like, I had a role in the play. And it was completely different to anything I ever did before in my life. Never did drama, nothing like that. But it was such a great experience because it was something so different. So even though that was in 5th year, it was kind of like a TY experience in 5th year for me. And I just kind of took the chance to do it. So I kind of regret, and we ended up in the Bród performing the Bród Theatre and all. It was honestly, we won an award for it. It was absolutely incredible, to do it. And after I finished 6th year, to celebrate the centenary year of the school, I think it was 10-year anniversary or something, we performed it again, and it was a great experience. And I met a couple of people in the school who I maybe wouldn't have come across that well beforehand through that. So it was just brilliant, and it was a great experience. So I suppose my one regret, is maybe not doing that in TY, but I kind of made up for it. But I was only lucky that I got to make up for it. So my advice to you and to anyone else who's listening is just
do it now.
Yeah, immerse yourself in everything you can. Obviously, you can't do everything in school. I would have liked to play rugby for the school team. I never played a competitive rugby match in my life. I was busy with gaelic football and soccer. I was sore legs as well from I couldn't do everything. That's just the way it was. But maybe that's another thing. But other than that, no, I was really happy with it. I feel like I gave my all to things I wanted to do when I was here, and I got out of what I put into it. And so that's probably the advice, is to immerse yourself as much as you can. And I found it really rewarding.
Yeah, did you enjoy every trip that you went on, or was it perhaps what that was like, maybe I should stay going?
No, never thought about that. No, honest to God, and there was never a trip we went on. We went on a few different things in TY and even other trips. There was never one where I felt that was a waste of time. Because even if it's a waste of time, you just get a day out and you're having the crack. Yeah. And it's an experience. So I don't. Yeah, there was no waste, and I was very lucky that not everyone was able to go. Very fortunate. We went on a trip in TY. We went to Alton Towers. They don't do that anymore. Because someone had their leg amputated on the Smiler, one of the rides, about a week after we were there. Yeah, I think that's the reason why. So I can still remember being on top of the Smiler, right, which is one of these crazy rides in Alton Towers, and looking down and seeing Jamie Crean in his yellow shorts, And Jamie Crean was a lad in my year, he wore yellow shorts. Jamie, if you're watching this, I still remember. But he wouldn't go any of the rides because he had yellow shorts and he was, anyway, less about that. But I can still see him walking around and then we went down the hill. Amazing. And it was, again, a great experience to go away. So I was lucky I got to go away on that trip, and I also got to go away on one in 5th year. And not everyone is fortunate enough that they can afford that. And so I was blessed at the time and I'm blessed now that we were able to do that. Great trips, loved them all. But even days out, like playing soccer or playing GA at school, like once you got your work done and you came back, you don't neglect your work here. Like you have to kind of have a bit of maturity about yourself to know that you're here to learn things as well. But man, meet someone, like when I was in 2nd year then, we won a soccer tournament, we won the Leinster competition, the Leinster under 15 tournament. So we won the North Leinster and then beat the Carlow school, Dublin school, and then a school from Wexford in the final. We were Leinster champions and it was amazing. It's one of my best memories. It's unbelievable. And just the celebration of that, it's just, so all those days out, no, great times. Never once regret it. Once.
Would you say the school has changed much since you were in 1st year?
Yes and no. When I was in 1st year, we were over in that building over there where Lake End Primary School is now. Well, they used to be before. What's in there now? It used to be Lake End before they moved over.
I think it's a college.
Whatever's over there now.
There's nothing there yet.
Whatever. We used to be over there now, right? And then we used to. So we had then that school was too small for like home economics and
Engineering.
Yeah, woodwork. So they used to have a different building which is completely demolished now called the Donlon. So we used to walk across there in the rain included sometimes as well over to the Donlon. If we had to go to home ec, we used to walk in the rain over class. But it was. So it has changed structurally, obviously. And then this building was open when I was in 2nd year, and it took me a while to get used to it. I thought the courtyard in the middle looked like a bit of a prison wall, because you down there and you're like 4 walls coming everywhere. So that's what I thought at the start, but I got used to it. But no, it has a little bit. Obviously, it's got bigger, and I think society's changed a little bit now. That when I was in school, this is not completely gone, and this is why I still love this place. There's such a Chlann emphasis, and we're all kind of part of a collective here. And I genuinely do mean this, right? And I know from having been a member of staff last a couple of years ago as well. Like, the teachers genuinely do care about the students here. You're not just a piece of meat. They will go out of their way to help you. And like I know that for a fact. I've been there, I've seen it, and I've had privy to conversations behind the scenes that you wouldn't be seeing. That I know it's true, and I felt that when I was a student, and that's not gone. So, from that perspective, that's not changed, and I'm glad that's not changed. And I still think there is an attitude of like the Bród, Uaillmhian, Dearfacht maybe doesn't get thrown around as much nowadays, right? Probably a little bit toned down a little bit now, but that's still there, and that pride, ambition, positivity, and that ethos in the school, that Jarka culture, like that was really big when I was starting off, and it's still big now. Maybe not as big, so maybe a slight change, but it's still big now. And I still think that is conducive to a positive culture in the school that leads to a respect between staff and students, but also a kind of camaraderie that makes it a good place. I still love this place, even though I'm not here anymore.
They're trying to bring it back with 1st years in their Chlann.
Oh yeah, promotion.
Yeah.
There's a promotional video coming up.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We did. She literally.
Yeah, I had to
did it
record that today.
Yeah, it's just all the 1st years in the hall.
You have to chant, you have to raise their arms
Dearfacht.
like that.
Look, some of that seems a little cringy, right? I get that, but it actually, that, honest to God, right, that stuff is really important. And that culture is really important for a place. And like when you go out into the working world and you kind of realise a bad culture is hard to fix and a good one is hard to keep, right? But they make such a difference to your lived experience day to day. And I'm really hopeful that this place never loses that bit of Bród, Uaillmhian, Dearfacht, because it's really what makes this place extra special compared to other places. I know that for a fact. Having seen both sides of coins as a teacher and as a student. So I'm really thankful that I probably got it when it was really at that Bród, Uaillmhian, Jarka culture was really at its highest. I was really fortunate that I was here as a student in that day, but I'm glad it's not gone and I hope it never goes.
Did you like teaching here?
Yeah, loved it. And it was hard. But I loved it, and because I loved being part of that culture, and without wanting to kind of take myself too cringy, I cared that my students in the classroom I wanted to do my best for them. I did, and I wanted to make sure they were all kind of content in their own little life, and that if I could ever help them in any way, that I would. But I feel like I don't know for sure, but I feel like people appreciated that, and I think people kind of knew that you could kind of come to me if you had a problem, and I'd do my best for you. I might be able to fix it necessarily, but I might be able to point you in the right direction. And I think there is that. I genuinely think that's a culture in CNI that people do care about you. Like, it's not just people just don't. As staff members don't just fob off student concerns. To the best of my knowledge, anyway, and my experience. And I really enjoy that side of it. I really enjoy the classroom. I really enjoy the interaction with students. Like, I'm loving this conversation with you now. I genuinely do. Like, I'm enjoying this. And I think teaching is really such an empowering job that if you can see little bits of improvement or kind of someone's day is better, or you can kind of the balance between the academics and the personal development side of things is what I really love. So who knows, I might end up coming back to do more of it in the future. It's not quite what I'm doing right now, but maybe.
Would you like to come back?
Yeah, like I was saying, I was walking up the door, like I'm really content with what I'm doing now in Belfast in the study, and I'm a real sense of purpose about that with research work, but I might maybe down the road. I really enjoyed it. Like. So I as I was saying, I was walking up the corridor today and into the staff room and I'm immediately happy here. Immediately, like so quickly. And I was looking forward to this today. Like so much so that I happen to have a day kind of spare today. I'm usually in Belfast Monday to Friday, just not today. A couple of different things going on. But I Master Curvin tried to organise this, and I was like, Master, actually, if I could get in, I'd love to come in to do it. Because I'd love to get back in to see people and to be in the environment. Like I was happy to help out with this because it was giving me a chance to get back in with the pot. And that sounds a bit cringy, I'm sure, but genuinely, I love this bit. So yeah, I'd love to at some stage.
Out of all the classes that you taught, who would you say would be your favourite?
Oh God, impossible. You're actually putting me on the spot there. I had a great group 5th year. They're gone now. 5th year, there was I had 2 classes in 5th year for Irish. They were both challenging for different reasons. And there's
in good or bad way?
In both, in good and bad, for equal reasons. Every class I had was challenging for some way, but good in some ways as well, right? And I mean that seriously. I'm not just saying that. I loved the 5th year ordinary level Irish class I had, who are now they're now finished school. They were 6th year last year. I loved that class because it was a mixed bag of people who were kind of really struggling with Irish, but kind of happy to be in school, and some people who were kind of at that stage they were finding school very hard, and other people who were really getting their head down to do their best at their ability. And it was just, I found it very rewarding, and it was a different challenge because there was different personalities in it that kind of clashed, right? At times, and sometimes clashed with me, and that created a challenge from time to time. But genuinely, I have a lot of respect for everyone in that classroom, and I think everyone tried to make an effort, and I felt I was able to get a little bit of effort out of them. And I have really good memories from a lot of the people in that class. And same with the higher level class that I had earlier in the year. The 6th year class I had, they were great students in there. Holy God, they were great. The 2 first year groups, Ron Lennon and Ron O'Brien, great times teaching them. some mad experiences teaching them too. Like, they taught me plenty of things as well. But yeah, it was honestly, I couldn't pick one. And I'm not just saying that, I couldn't pick one. They were great. Enjoyed it all. And even the cover classes, I remember having some useful cover classes. Like, I just in the cover classes, it's a bit more like I want you to do your work, right? You have to do your work for me because I'm not having that left. That's my responsibility for the teacher who left the work, so make sure you do it. But I enjoyed kind of getting to know people I didn't know in school, or kind of having a bit of crack, So I think that was part of fun.
So when it came to the leaving, sir, was it like, did you find any difference between junior and the senior?
When I was teaching or when I was a student?
Students.
Yeah, but in some ways the junior service, so they're talking about getting rid of the junior service for a long time, right? Well, they're not going to get rid of it, but they've kind of changed the format. But they have been talking, when I was a student, they were talking about, should we ban the leaving junior service? Sorry, I don't think they should have banned the junior service, because junior service is great prep for leaving service, right?
It's kind of like a mock.
It is, and it's worth putting a bit of time. You've obviously got your junior service done, but it's worth putting a bit of time into, a bit of effort into, particularly when you're in 3rd year. And you can't just do it in 3rd year now because you've got more assessments as you go, CBA and all that. When I was doing the junior service, there was no CBA really. It was a few subjects had to do like projects, so in home ec for instance, but there was no CBA, so it's a bit different. But no, it is worth putting a bit of effort into the junior service. Like, it does still matter. If not for any other reason, definitely for that reason. To get you familiar with what it's like to take a state exam in an exam hall and have that whole environment. And that's why, I even say it's worth putting a bit of effort into your Christmas and your summer exams, for sure. Like, not killing yourself. Don't stress yourself too much, don't keep yourself up at night, that kind of nonsense. But do put a bit of effort. Get used to studying. Because it's like any kind of habit, like I play sport, you can't just go out and expect to play well, good performance in if you don't train. You have to be training. And that's what it is, in my opinion. You had a question, didn't you? Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Did you have a question?
Yeah, how did you like find the balance between sports and like studying?
Great question. I felt when I was, for most of my time in school, they complemented each other because it was something to kind of, I would come home and try and get my work done, and it kind of focused my attention towards getting my work done if I had training that evening. Didn't always get it done that evening, sometimes I had to come home and do it, which was a bit tiring. And there was a time when I was in 5th year, I was travelling over to Navan for training during the week, and that was tough because I was in the highest maths class and I was really poor at maths. Probably never should have been there. And I used to spend a long time doing my maths work, and it was kind of taken out of the other subjects. So it was challenging at times, but I think most of the time they complemented each other. And coming up to my leaving cert, I dropped football from April or March until the exams were done because I wanted to focus my attention on the sport, on the studies entirely, and I don't regret that one bit. Not everybody does that. Some people needed the outlet. For me, I didn't. I was able to just kind of, I was happy enough just to give my full self to my schoolwork at that stage. But the rest of the time, it was really complementary. I found the two of them were balanced and worked out well for each other. And I'm happy to have had them both. No, I didn't mean to put you off. I just wanted you didn't want to get the question.
Like, was there LCA when you were in school?
Yeah.
Like, did you go 5th year LCA or just 5th year?
I didn't do LCA. I did. I just did the conventional.
5th year. And for your subjects, like,
yeah.
what goes through your mind when picking subjects to go to 5th year?
Interest. What was I interested in? What would I find myself studying? So I loved history in primary, on junior level. What I'm doing now is a lot of reading about history actually, and I'm really enjoying that. Like you might see me up late at night reading through Robert Key's Green Flag, the story of Irish nationalism, or whatever it is, like our G.D. Boyce from 1995, 3rd edition. I can have that in my head, you know what I mean? I know the chapters of that off by heart because I've been reading it lately. But when it was this was a balance. So firstly, it's interest. Secondly, then is I can't write that quick. So back in my day, I don't know if this is still the way now. For leaving cert for history, you have to write a lot in a short space of time. And so therefore, I decided not to do history. And I liked the subjects as well. I was happy to do home ec. Home ec was probably my best subject, and I love home ec. Love business, and I was really happy to do that. And I like biology, and I'm happy I took that on. And then I took on Spanish, and Spanish was a funny one. I liked Spanish, but it wasn't my passion necessarily. But I was mindful that you needed Spanish to get into some universities. You needed a third language. Irish, English, and a third language. So I wanted to keep that choice open to myself. So that kind of made it, when it came to choosing between Spanish or history, yeah, I love history, but probably that might be a bit I struggle with in terms of writing that quickly. And sure, I suppose I kind of need the Spanish to get maybe to. I wanted to go to UCD, which I didn't in the end, but I didn't know that when I was in 5th year making the decision, or TY making the decision. So I wanted to keep all those doors open, so that's why I picked Spanish. So that's why I made my choices, and I was happy with them in the end. But they're made for the right reasons, because I followed my interest, and that made studying those subjects a lot easier. So that's the advice I'd have for you. Do something you're interested in for 5th year, 6th year, because you'll find it easier to study.
When you're in like 6th year before leaving cert, did you like keep the same studying habits?
I think a lot. This is why I suppose I'm trying to encourage people to do a little bit of study and get into that groove when you're in junior cycle, because I think you make the habits early. And yeah, I didn't find it that hard to study in 6th year because I kind of was used to doing bits of study for 6 years previous. And I didn't kill myself in 1st year, not at all, not in 2nd year, but did a bit of work, did what I needed to do. And I got into the habit of doing a bit of study. And it's not easy, right? I'm not saying it's easy, it's not. But the sooner you start, that ball rolling a little bit. So maybe when you're going to 5th year next year, not in TY now, but when you're in 5th year, just keep tabs on things, keep making a bit look over it. Get the habit of doing 5-10 minutes when you finish your homework. What did you do 2 weeks ago? And just see how much of that you can remember. And even if it's only 5-10 minutes, I'm telling you, that stands to you. Because it stands to you when you come to do your summer exams and your Christmas exams, and then when you do your mocks and you're in 6th year, and then when you kind of properly prepare for the real thing. Because 6th year flies like that, right? It goes so fast. So if you think you can just leave all your study to the last few months, you're going to find yourself in a difficult situation.
Yeah. What inspired you to be a teacher here?
Because I love the school, love the culture of the place, and just the chance arose for me to take it, so I was just delighted to get the chance. So yeah, and I want to come back here. I didn't just want to do teaching.
Specifically this school.
Yeah, specifically.
Specific.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 30 years already.
That's nice. Just keep going anyways.
Yeah, I'm happy to keep going if you want to keep going.
We can just cut this part out. So.
Yeah, it's fine. But no, I love this is where I want to be. Like I wanted to do it regardless. But if I got the chance to do it here, I would have taken this with 2 hands, no question.
Yeah, have you taught in the Kangaroo schools
No.
or
Just this one.
Just this school, yeah.
So,
No, great choice. I mean that seriously, and there's no teacher. I'm telling you this in classroom. Like, I haven't been to staff. There's no teacher. I've heard no teacher complaining about this place. People, the staff like it. I'm telling you, they might give out the odd time about this, that, or the next, right? But in general, in my experience, and maybe it's just what I've heard, but there is no member of staff who really who hates this place that I've come across. And maybe they have, and just not told me. That's possible too. There's the bell. The school day's over. And everyone will go home crying. They have to leave. No, not necessarily. Like people will be happy, but it's just. Do you know what I mean? It is. You believe me. You realise when you leave this place that it does a lot right. I'm convinced.
just after you're done your leaving cert, like, did you take a gap year, go straight to work?
No, I went straight to when so I worked at LMFM since I was in TY. That was a quirky work experience that I got lucky with. So that's what I'm saying. Do an immersive. Just you never know what might happen. So I did that on a Saturday since I was 16. So I'm nearly 10 years doing that now. 10 years in November, which is mad. But no, when I was finished TNI, I went straight to DCU. And then DCU, then I took a gap year and I worked for DCU. After 3 years there, then I worked for DCU for a year, which was a crazy experience too. And then I went back to the Masters, was a year here, and then I'm now doing the PhD now.
So fun chatting.
No worries, that's grand. I probably talk. Nice to meet you again. So yeah, no, it's just been like that. It's finished here, 3 years in DCU, worked for DCU for a year, which gave me an insight into teaching, because that was actually teaching first year university students a lot. And third years, lads who I would have been friendly with and been at school with since I was 4. So that was a crazy experience, teaching them. But I've seen them, they're great lads. And then took the year, did Masters, took the year here, and then I'm back studying again.
So,
Any other questions?
we were saying that.
Yeah. No worries, thank you very much. I really enjoyed that chat. Hope it's some use. Thank you so much for your great questions and your great engagement, yeah? And I hope TY goes well for you all. And by the way, I wasn't buying any of that